Hey guys, Benji here, just with the question of the week. So, question of the week here is what is the farthest, furthest? I wonder what that word is. Anyway, what's the furthest you've ever traveled from home? Um, so, quick answer is Europe. Quick answer is, being in, we went for about a month. I don't know, what is that, 2 years, 3 years ago? Um, I think before that, though, I think my answer was Jamaica. I think so. And here's why. I'd kind of thought about this a little bit just because I thought, boy, this is a 30-second video if I just say, hey, what's the furthest you traveled? Italy. Um, but a little background on this is that I think this is an interesting question 30 years ago. Or have we just become richer as people, or just me and my family and my friends and my circle of people that I hang around with? Because that is how I don't think that many people traveled that long ago. um, Growing up, we were poor and most people were poor. I mean, I don't think I knew anyone that traveled internationally growing up. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody. Maybe somebody went to England or Ireland, or and then of course like the Caribbean. But I really think that that's it. I really think when we traveled, we went to the Lake of the Ozarks or Branson or somewhere like that, St. Louis, Chicago. Somebody took a big vacation. They're going to California or Florida, and then the rich people went to like the Cayman Islands and the Caribbean, Jamaica kind of stuff. So I think that this might be an interesting question for those type of people, either people that make less or people 30 or 40 years ago, because I don't think it was that big a deal. Now, saying that, I haven't gone that far, minus in the last 5 years, let's say 4 years, 3 years, whatever that is. Um, but but the funny part is like our daughters have, like, we've sent our daughters on European vacations with school, and it's not like they're going with three kids, and it's not like, or they're not like a foreign exchange student. They're the only one going. Like, there's a group of 29 kids or 37 kids that are going to Europe for a trip between their freshman and sophomore years, and a lot of people are sending them because it's not, it's expensive. It's $4,000, let's say, but $4,000 today and $4,000 growing up is a whole lot different, and I think a lot of people can afford it. And they give you payment plans right through the school. They tell you about it when they're like in seventh grade, and you go at the end of your ninth grade year. So people have 2 years to pay, $114 a month or whatever it is. So it allows more people to go. So I think a lot of people, like, I think this question is really going to be boring 30 years from now, because people are going to go, well, I mean, doesn't everybody kind of goes on a trip with school? Or now again, in Park Hills School District where our girls go, I don't know, there's 2,000 kids in high school, and there's, let's say in their class, right? Because every year it's that one year that you go. Let's say that there's 500 kids or 400 kids in a class. There's still only 40 kids going, so it's still 10%. So maybe I'm just in this little bubble of people that, hey, what are you doing this summer? Oh, we're gonna go to Switzerland. And you're like, oh, cool. What are you gonna do? Oh, we're gonna go hike and do this. And you just think, oh, cool, yeah, Switzerland's gorgeous. That'd be fun. Where we used to think that of Colorado, like, oh, what are you doing? Like, oh, over Christmas break we're going skiing. Okay, that wasn't unheard of, but now I think the people I hang around with or people that I talk to, yeah, they go on bigger trips. Or maybe I'm just older and richer, right? Because as you get older, you make more money and your bills start to get a little less, and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't think it's that interesting a question anymore, I think is my point. I think when people say, hey, how far have you been away? I think most people would say, oh, I went to this other country in Europe, or I did go to Australia one time, or yeah, for business, I went to Shanghai. So there are people I know that have done that go over to Japan and China for things. And it not be that crazy, right? It's no different than if you just look up, the amount of people that travel on planes internationally every year. It just grows by a decent percentage every single year, like more and more people. But even domestically, like there's just more and more flights. More people are going, I can afford $400 to go to Michigan, and business travel and just everything like that. So and look at it from a sports standpoint of having kids, of like travel baseball, travel cheer, travel dance, travel, you name it, everything, soccer. Um, yeah, people travel more. They move around more. People have more discretionary income. Now, I'm not saying that like everybody's rich, but people still somehow make it happen somehow. And so I think as this goes along, now in my family, it's still small. It's my parents and me, right? Kit hasn't gone anywhere. Josh hasn't gone anywhere. Katie hasn't gone anywhere. So yeah, maybe I'm just being an egocentric person. Like everybody travels all over the world, and especially because everything I see right now, right? Like I don't know when this video is going to get watched. Could be watched 30 years from now when I die, or 10 years from when I die, or 50 years when I die. And somebody says, oh, didn't they travel the world? Like, yes, we're getting ready to. We're getting ready to travel for like here in 9 months, 10 months. We're going to travel the world. We're retiring and we're going to be gone for 9 to 11 months out of the every year, right? And we're going to, I think it's 38 countries, something like that, in 7 years. And then at the end of that 7 years, once we've hit all those countries we want to see, we're going to take we hope, another seven more, and then some, 7 to 10, and say, we're gonna go back and visit all the greatest hits. Like we loved France, Albania, Montenegro, Thailand, and New Zealand, and we are gonna spend 3 to 6 months in each of those places, and we're gonna travel around, and so we're gonna hit the greatest hits again for another 7 to 10 years. Now that's the plan. If health holds up, if issues hold up, if life holds up, there's all sorts of things that can happen to change your plans, right? So, but these are our plans now, is to travel for the next 15 plus years until we're 65, 68, 70, somewhere in there. So this question will be really boring for me, I hope, 10 years from now, to go, what's the furthest you've traveled? Yeah, I don't know. Pick a country. Minus, it's easier to pick countries that we don't want to go to. Like there's a lot of African countries that we probably don't have a whole lot of want to go to. We don't want to go to Russia, Ukraine, or some of the countries that are kind of war torn right now. There's a lot of Middle Eastern countries that we're just like, doesn't feel as safe as we need to be, and we don't have we like to travel and travel slowly and live in a city. There are just some places that we just don't want to go, but we will be able to hopefully knock off and say, yeah, I don't know, we've been to China, we've been to Japan, we've been to Thailand, Vietnam, Australia, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Morocco, Turkey, Cyprus, you name it, we've been to all those. So it will be kind of boring. But right now, again, like I said at the beginning, my short answer is, what's the furthest you traveled? Italy, Europe, So that's really what it is. But I think it's just something that people are just doing more now. Again, not everybody, but because I don't know what my brother Josh's would be. I don't know what Kit's would be. I don't know if they've been out of the country minus Mexico, like Tijuana, Cancun, maybe something like that. almost the Americans, like us, we look at Cancun or, going somewhere in Mexico like, I mean, yes, it's international travel, but I don't know if it really is. It's similar to, have you been to Toronto? Yeah. Jen and I went to Nova Scotia for my 50th. It doesn't seem like you're going out of the country, right? I mean, especially to Canada, because everybody's still speaking English. We didn't go to Montreal or Quebec City or something where there's a lot of French speaking. And even when you go to Cancun, I mean, a lot of the people speak English. You don't have to know Spanish to get around in those touristy areas. Um, but I just think more and more people are doing this, having a trip like, we've always wanted to go to Italy, and we go. We've always wanted to go to Germany during Oktoberfest, and so this year we're going. And so I think that it's becoming less cool. I mean, I think maybe a more interesting conversation. Again, this is for two sets of people. I think there are 20% of the people in America that that need a different question. That is, how many countries have you visited in your lifetime? And then there's another. This sounds so freaking elitist, me even saying these words, but I think there's 80% of the country that is, what's the furthest that you've ever traveled from home? And I think that's okay. And so, yeah, man, I'm really hating this question because I really sound like no old white rich guy. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's who I am. That's pathetic. Um, but I think that's going to be the end of my answer. I think that my answer is Italy, but I'm hoping it's going to be there's a whole lot of other stories, and then maybe some more in depth things that happen in our life and places we've gone, and more interesting things that we do over the next 5 to 15 years. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right, see the old white angry elitist thinks everybody can afford to go to Europe guy signing off of this video. All right, bye.